And I'm WSA 9 meteorologist Hopper Shutt. We're going to focus on some severe weather to the west of us, and in fact, crazy weather encompassing parts of Illinois, Missouri, Arkansas, and also West Tennessee. So this is the radar, and you see all these red boxes. Those are tornado warnings, and there is a ton of tornado warnings. Not unexpected. Severe Storm Prediction Center had this area in a high risk today, and it certainly is. So we'll zoom in a little bit. So we've got 3 tornado warnings just to the east of St. Louis as you go out 64. We have some more tornado warnings west of I-55, and then further south into Arkansas. We have yet more tornado warnings and even some tornado warnings now in portions of Tennessee, and not quite in Mississippi, but not far from Memphis, and actually not far from Nashville. Nashville, just to the west, has a severe thunderstorm warning. So here we go. We'll go through some of these. This one goes until 6 o'clock. Okay, this one goes until 6:30 for Fayette. And if you look carefully, you see the magenta here. That is crazy hail. And oftentimes, storms that produce tornadoes will have large hail. That is one of the signatures. So in addition to the possibility of tornadoes here, tons of hail, and of course very, very heavy rain as well. So that is around the St. Louis area. This is St. Louis right here, and those are the ones to the east of them. Down to the south, more. Across 55, this is a tornado warning until 6:30 for places Madison and also St. Francis, and also back toward Butler and Carter and Wayne. So that's near Poplar Bluff. So it is, as advertised. I mean, there was a high risk in this area for storms, and that's what's happening. And the Severe Storms Prediction Center doesn't put out high risk too often, and certainly not lightly, but in this area they had a high risk of storms, and they are getting them. I mean, look at the hail just to the west of Williamsville, and that's just to the northwest of Poplar Bluff. You probably heard of that. And this warning here goes until 6 o'clock. So, and of course these are local times, so 7 o'clock, of course, our time. And we'll zoom back out. Some more severe thunderstorms south of Memphis, but these are more tornado warnings south of Jackson and just to the east of Memphis. So it is just crazy out there. And in fact, the Maryland Task Force 1 is going to go out and help these folks with the damage. And we have someone joining us now live to talk more about that. And we appreciate you taking the time to talk to us. It took us a little while to get to you. So tell us what your goals are and when you guys are leaving.
Chief, tell us, today Maryland Task Force is assembling. Where are they going today, and what are your goals?
So today FEMA requested the assistance of Maryland Task Force 1. We are activated now. We are assembling right now in our headquarters warehouse. Right now, what's happening is a lot of the work to get prepared to deploy. So our goals right now, based on our deployment actions, are to stay here while we get ready till we get orders to deploy somewhere. And we can deploy anywhere from Texas to Tennessee.
Yes, and do you know much about the upcoming storm and what challenges that might bring to your team?
We're, if called to move to Texas or Tennessee, somewhere in that area, we have a Type 3 team, which is 45 people. They can do anything from swiftwater rescue, search and rescue. We have canines for human remains and live find canines. So we also can do mapping and other support that's necessary. We're a full team that's capable of many things at an advancement of the area that's impacted.
And Chief, I'm sure a lot of people want to know, talk about how to prepare for such events like this.
Well, the good news, Maryland Task Force 1 was established in 1988. Our first deployment was in 1995 for the Oklahoma City bombing. So this is nothing new for Maryland Task Force 1. We prepare on a regular basis. As a matter of fact, we prepare so much we want to go and put our certifications and skills into action. And if we're called, we are able to do so in a moment's notice.
And I was talking to you a little bit. You mentioned what a crazy last 8 months this has been.
Yeah.
Can you kind of like talk about that and how that gets you ready for moments like this?
Well, the fire service, just like any other fire service, there's a lot that's going on. We're responding to the community over 100,000 times a year. We're seeing all kind of emergencies that we have to mitigate. So we train on a regular basis doing emergency scenes as well as to prepare for emergency scenes. So there's been unfortunate events where we've had some line of duty deaths. We've had some struggles to try to ensure that we're prepared for our community. And the good news is we've been able to look at ourselves. We're embarking on some planning for some deployment options. We're talking to our stakeholders to ensure that we're doing the best we can for our community with our finite resources.
Chief, that's very reassuring, just talking about like how confident you are in your team. Is there anything else that you would like to add, something that people may not know about your team?
So the team is consisting of several jurisdictions. So Montgomery County Fire and Rescue is the host agency, but on this particular deployment, we have Frederick County, we have the District of Columbia, we have Montgomery County Police, we have Howard County and Anne Arundel County a part of the team. So we're working together to deploy to help anywhere we need to go, but think about the training that we receive and the experience that we receive. That helps us back at home take care of our Montgomery County community.
Thank you very much for your time, Chief.
Thank you.
That was a spokesperson for our Montgomery County Task Force 1. They're going to go out and help these folks out in the Midwest. You know, I just went to our app, and just so you know that you set the point in the app, you know, open over your house probably, but you can zoom out and track these storms that I'm tracking out in Missouri and Tennessee and Kentucky. So just sort of keep that in mind. You can find radar across the world with the app. Yes, we normally like it in our backyard, but it goes everywhere. Okay. So let's talk about storm reports. This is kind of crazy. So these are wind gusts, okay? The red icon is a possible tornado, has not been certified just yet or investigated. This is snow to the north, so this storm has a little bit of everything, kind of like what you would expect in a spring snow to the north and severe weather to the south. So we'll zoom in here. This is a possible tornado just to the west of Columbia, Missouri, and the teams are surveying damage found in Pilot Grove and also down into portions of Oklahoma. We have some video now. This is Pilot Grove, Missouri. Check this out. Overturned train, down trees and power lines after the possible tornado. So when you see a car overturn, you know some pretty serious winds and also building damage after the tornado in Pilot Grove. This is a pretty impressive video. I would say at least an EF1 or EF2 with the trees. Notice the trees are kind of down in a circle. That's one thing you look for in tornadoes and in damage, the circular path or pattern rather of the tornado. So that's it's not good. It looks like someone's standing there. So we have no reports of injuries. So that's pretty good. Again, car upside down, that means winds are at least 120 miles per hour, and that is, you know, it's crazy out there. Now we're going to go now to Oklahoma. Down trees, roofs ripped off houses, also because of another possible tornado in Owasso on today. And you see some of the damage here. We take a little tour. And this is in sort of northeastern Oklahoma, not northeast of Oklahoma City, but well within the state. And there's a tree down there on a house. Looks like something's flipped up. So looks like a roof is off part of the house there. And, you know, when you see something like this, it's a pretty big storm. Pretty big storm. Look at the roof's gone on that house completely. And now we're inside. So this is now in Missouri. A place called Nevada, Missouri, also a suspected tornado, and it tore the roof off a motel. And when you see joists and rafters ripped off, that's a pretty intense storm. Something obviously at the back of that. That's actually a good kind of case in point there, that when you get in these tornadoes, you see flying debris can cause all kinds of damage and injury, which is why we say take cover, interior room, basement if you can. That is your best bet in terms of taking cover, because, you know, not only is everything, you know, kind of collapsing around you, but just little everyday objects can be hurled at, like, you know, 100, 110 miles an hour, and that becomes deadly. So we're going to see more video. There's a telephone pole line down So, some things we can take away from this. If you see the telephone pole line down, you never go near it because the wires could be hot. And that's just something that we always talk about. So, again, it is the wild, wild west out here in terms of storms. This is another storm. We showed you this, a roof damage, and this is between 77th and 86th on Sheridan. And it's got a tornado debris signature. When they put that in, that means that the debris is usually in a circular pattern. The only thing that can confuse that sort of logic would be a downburst. And you do get a downburst of wind, you'll get a circular pattern of damage, but it will not be a tornado. But we're pretty sure all these out here are tornadoes. They're much larger and much easier to detect and also identify. So this is, again, all the, in terms of the severe storm reports. And this is pretty impressive. I mean, when you see that many red icons, that's pretty impressive. We can query some of these and see, just how some of the wind gusts are. And we'll see, how impressive. So this is St. Louis. So we showed you a possible tornado over here near Columbia, Missouri. In terms of wind, we could see wind gusts of, well, let's see, not showing me the wind gusts for some reason. Oh, there we go. So there, wind gusts of 60 miles per hour there. We'll go into Indiana, wind gusts there of 54 miles per hour. So these are, this is actually under, in this case, it's under severe weather criteria, which is 56 miles per hour. But still, a 50 mile per hour wind will do some damage. And remember, these folks down here in Tennessee and Arkansas and Mississippi, well, they have some foliage out. They're ahead of us in terms of spring. So you get a 60 mile an hour wind, that's not a good thing. Let's check this wind speed out here. That's a 60 mile per hour wind also. That's right in the center part of Arkansas. And, we could, go up and talk about snow. I won't do that, but I love that. These are the possible tornadoes we showed you earlier out in Oklahoma. There's your building damage at O'Brien near 66th Street, and even some hail. This particular icon is hail, okay? Not quite inch hail. So, this is a pretty big outbreak. I mean, it really is, and covers a pretty wide area, and it's not going to die down for a while. We're going to see these storms fire up another 2-3 hours as they move a little further east, closer to, if you were in Louisville, that'd be, someone in Louisville, give them a call, and also into Middle Tennessee down toward Nashville. They also will see the possibility of some severe weather. So again, this is a pretty crazy outbreak. Now, let's go through this. This is Futurecast kind of centered on this area. You see the yellow, that's will be the strongest area of showers and storms. This is 8:30. So by 8:30, everything's pretty much out of Oklahoma of any consequence and about to exit Missouri. But there's still a chance for severe weather through the boot heel here until 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. That's 8:30. And we get into 9:30. Now we're going to see almost a solid line developing. So this is, some areas could get hit twice with severe weather, which is not good. That's 9:30. Now this 9:30 is Eastern time, okay? Sort of keep that in mind. This is not Central time. Look what happens by 10:30. It gets to be almost a solid line. You see that. When you see a model which is not what we call in a fine grid, in other words, it's a pretty big model in terms of it takes chunks of the Earth, and then over that 25 nautical mile chunk, it'll give you what's the weather going to be. That's not what we call fine detail. So when you see something like this with a model, that's telling me that they're not done. They're not done at all. Even by 11:30, look at that. Even more through the boot heel of Missouri, then back into southern Illinois and up into Indianapolis, just south of Indiana, rather, just south of Indianapolis. So, and of course, the worst part is as this moves eastward, people are going to bed, it's dark, that's when we have problems with fatalities. A little after midnight, still very slowly moving. And if you notice, this hasn't moved much in 4 hours. This is sort of the same system that's going to get close to us but stall out and not roll through here for a while, which is why we're going to have a lot of clouds, but we're not going to have a lot of shower activity. So that's good. We don't really want this. By 2:30 in the morning, now it moves into northwestern Tennessee and parts of Kentucky, not far from Louisville. And again, that's holding together pretty well. And you also notice a couple things here when you get tornadoes. You got winds coming in from the northwest here, winds coming in from the south here. So you get winds of different directions, both at the surface and also aloft above us. You also have abundance of moisture coming in from the Gulf of Mexico. And you also will often see with this type of a situation a change in direction and speed of winds. And that's what causes the rotation oftentimes. Okay, so 6 o'clock in the morning, it's still west of Nashville. It has not made much progress. If this were a normal cold front, this thing would be through Knoxville by now. But by 6 o'clock in the morning, it is still well to the west of us. By 5:30 tomorrow evening, they're not done with the showers, but notice it's all shades of green, which is light, so that's certainly an improvement for them. We can sort of take away a couple of things that we always, talk about and want to just kind of remind everybody. The watch, anytime there's a watch, whether it's tornado or winter storm watch or flood watch, it means it's possible. So in this case, tornado watch, a tornado is possible, okay, stay alert. When it goes to a warning, that means it's happening. That's kind of a good way to remember it, okay? ING, warning, happening. It's take action. A tornado is happening or about to happen. Put your plan into action. So when you have a watch, okay, you want to have a plan. Hey, where do we go? Okay, where should we take cover? And then when the warning is issued, then you will actually want to put that plan into action. Hey, right now we want to check in with our sister station in Indianapolis, who is actively tracking this storm as it moves into their area. Take a look.
Of that warning, and the storm is right over Monticello. Heavy rain, potential for some large hail, potential for some damaging wind gusts in excess of 60 miles per hour. And this is tracking northeast at about 60. I'll do a quick storm track on this, and then we'll just kind of get you ready for the line of storms that is developing across the eastern and central sections of Illinois right now. So we will clear that, put a track on this cell that is now in Monticello. We'll just track the leading edge just to give you an idea of where it's going to go, moving northeast at about 60 miles per hour. So these are moving pretty quickly to the northeast, North Manchester at 750. So it's going to move from Monticello to just north of Logansport. At least the severe part of this storm for now is expected to stay just north of you, Logansport. But White and Cass counties, a severe thunderstorm warning for you until 8 o'clock this evening. It is going to be an active night of weather, and something that we've been really talking about for days since the severe storms we had on Sunday. Brought down a lot of trees, brought down a lot of power lines. Most of the storms locally on Sunday the damage was associated with straight line wind. The wind field right now that we're dealing with, a little more supportive or conducive to support and continue to develop storms that produce tornadoes. So that's the concern as we head into the next several hours. Most of the storm reports that we're getting out of portions of Illinois are, for now, with damaging wind and large hail. They've had some golf ball size hail. But I can also tell you a couple of the storms that we've been monitoring near and east of Effingham now, or in that area of Effingham, Illinois, there were at times confirmed tornado warnings on a couple of the cells there. So this is going to be a real concern as it's now nearing the state line. So heads up, Terre Haute in Vigo County, those of you in Vermilion County, those of you in Park County, this is an area that we're going to monitor first for the arrival of the storms that at this point have a history of confirmed tornado warnings. They are severe thunderstorm warnings if you're north of Lafayette. This is part of a bigger line of storms. There's the severe thunderstorm warning for northern White, northern Cass counties until 8 o'clock this evening. This is a highlighted area of the tornado watch. Let's go back to the watch area real quick. The watch area here doesn't for now include the eastern part of the state. However, we don't want you to let your guard down. We fully anticipate the watch to be expanded or extended off to the east. For now, the watch goes until 11 o'clock. And again, Cass, White counties, sometimes with the tornado watch and the severe thunderstorm warning, those sirens will sound. And with the environment that's in place, we really want you to treat these warnings, even if they are severe thunderstorm warnings, like tornado warnings. So for now, most of us under the watch, this is why when you take the time to review that safety plan. What am I going to do when the warning is issued? Because you don't want to have to think about it. When the warning's issued, that's when you take action and put that safety plan into place to save property and save lives. So what's safe, what's not safe in terms of where to go during severe weather? It is not safe to be in a mobile home. It is not safe to be in a large open room or in a vehicle. You can't hide under an overpass. Find another option. If you happen to be on the road, and I know sometimes it sounds crazy, the recommendation is to get out of the vehicle, into the ditch, make yourself low. But if you've got enough warning and enough time, that's when you make your way into a sturdy building, whether it be a gas station or a restaurant, and then you want to get into the middle part of that building. More safe is the interior room of a well-constructed home or building. That's why we get out of the vehicles and into something a little more sturdy. The safest place is a basement or a tornado shelter. For most of us, we don't have tornado shelters here in Indiana. A lot of homes do have basements, but if you don't have a basement, we don't want you to worry. We tell this to students when we do 13 Weather Academy talks, that even if you don't have a basement, there is a way to stay safe during severe weather. The basement obviously is the first option, and even with that, you want to be in the middle part, away from those exterior walls. If you don't have a basement, it's going to be the lowest level in the middle. So think here, this is a bathroom, but it might also be a closet in the middle part of your home. Just the lowest level. You want to put as many walls between you and the outside as you possibly can. So those are just a couple of safety tips, and we encourage you to keep these in mind, keep these in practice as we head through the next several hours because of that threat of tornadoes across central Indiana, and it's something that we're going to continue to monitor. 15%, that's the tornado probability. We don't really see the tornado probability percentages. Those percentages get this high. So when we do, it's really an alert for us to be monitoring all that storm development for rotation, because it means the ingredients are in place for those storms to quickly rotate, and perhaps quickly produce tornadoes. The model data is supporting that. So what you see here are possible tracks of rotation that the computer model is finding and alerting us to. And can't necessarily go on the exact destination of these or placement, but what we see is there's a lot of this. So even the computer model data picking up on the fact that we expect rotating thunderstorms for central Indiana. Damaging wind threat is also high at 45% in terms of that probability. What that means, destructive gusts in excess of 70 miles per hour. We had a non-severe thunderstorm gust at 60 miles per hour earlier this afternoon out at the airport in Indianapolis. But when we get into this line of storms, even if they don't rotate, the potential that those winds may exceed 70, 75 miles per hour. In addition to that, severe hail. Most of the reports that we've seen coming out of Illinois, golf ball size hail. So almost 2 inches in diameter. The hail probability sitting at 30%, and it does cover all of central Indiana at this point. In terms of hail size, we consider anything the size of a quarter or larger to be severe. So that's an inch in diameter. Once you get bigger than that, 1.5 inches, we're talking about the size of a ping pong ball. 1 3/4 inches, the size of a golf ball. Once we get to 2.5 inches, that's a tennis ball, baseball, softball size hail. So this is what we're watching, and the National Weather Service will actually watch those reports come in, because when they issue a severe thunderstorm warning, that's based on that storm perhaps producing a 58 mile per hour gust or higher. That's severe. Or inch in diameter hail or larger, that's also severe, and they do that to verify their warnings. The warnings tonight will come from the National Weather Service. It was the Storm Prediction Center out of Norman, Oklahoma that issued the tornado watch for us. Also watching Not only the wave of rain that we've got tonight on a saturated ground, we had rain and heavy rain and storms this morning. Anything that continues to fall will cause the creeks, the rivers, and streams to rise. Lowland flooding also an issue. National Weather Service does have us under a flood watch tonight through early Sunday. What's blinking here across parts of Illinois, flash flood warnings. So we may see, if we get under some of the heavier pockets of rain, a few of those as well. Holler at me if you see anything that really jumps at you, Sean. I'm almost finished.
Yeah, we got this tornado warning for Jasper County.
Okay.
Outside of our viewing area, but it's rotation increasing there near Rensselaer. So I want to show you that. You see that rotating column, and this is just one of probably going to be several. I want to show you a vantage point just to the west, and this is along I-65. We'll show you the NDOT camera, and it did catch my attention. I was just about to tweet this out. Look at the lowering there.
Oh, wow.
So we got a low cloud base. Been keeping a real close tab on that camera. Have another one as well that's not far from that location here. So the circulation that's prompted the tornado warning is east of I-65. But if you've got some friends up in this area, and you can see that rotating column, it will stay to the north of Monon, going to cross over 421, and going to be heading toward Francisville. This is all part of it. You can see it sticking out there.
Oh, sure.
With the rotation. So I suspect what's going to happen, and we tried to stress this earlier, and is that we're going to have a combination of severe thunderstorm warnings and tornado warnings, and some storms may have a combination of both too. So again, can't stress it enough. We're a long way from over, friends. We got another 5 hours, I believe, of getting some warnings here, and we'll be talking about that in a little more detail in just a little bit.
Yeah, and Futurecast 13 had done a pretty good job on the placement of the storms. Obviously, we don't have anything around the Indianapolis area right now, but we're starting to see that line cross into the northwestern part of the state with severe thunderstorm and tornado warnings, and we expect the line to continue to move from west to east. So if you're thinking now, okay, I have kids to pick up at 8 o'clock. If you're in Indianapolis east, 8 o'clock still looks pretty good. Anytime after that, however, or if you are west of Indianapolis, we may need to alter some of the evening plans if you don't want to be out during the threat of severe weather that unfortunately at this point still includes tornadoes. This is Futurecast 13 showing that severe threat coming to an end by the time we get into, say, midnight or shortly thereafter. Let's go back to radar, and we'll kind of do a deep dive on the warnings. We obviously have the severe thunderstorm warning for northern sections of Cass and White until 8 p.m. Sean pointed out the tornado warning for the Rensselaer area. And then we have numerous tornado warnings in the central part of this line, and that's going to be a concern for us as these storms continue to move north and east at about 60 miles per hour. So let's clear that warning real quick, and then we'll just give a closer look. We'll start north, and because I do want to show you just how close these storms are getting to the Terre Haute area and say Park County. This is the area under warnings now. Staying north of Monticello at this point for the warning, and north of Logansport, and then they did upgrade to a tornado warning. And we've seen this really over the last several waves of storms. It's been an active spring already, but oftentimes the National Weather Service will issue a larger tornado warning or severe thunderstorm warning, larger severe thunderstorm warning to cover the area and give alerts in advance of a powerful storm, a severe storm, and then focus on the area of rotation and issue the tornado warning within that severe thunderstorm warning. That's what Sean was mentioning, and we've seen it happen with several of the events that we've had so far, and anticipate more of that. And it's great because what happens is the National Weather Service gives you plenty of time to say, hey, you're now under a severe thunderstorm warning. Treat it like a tornado warning, because embedded in the severe storms, this rotation can happen quickly with little or no notice. But giving you the severe thunderstorm warning ahead of time gives you that advanced notice. Fowler, looks like Benton County under a severe thunderstorm warning. Very intense storm, severe, moving into Fowler right now. This will continue to move across Benton County. Let's do a time on this. So that's a new severe thunderstorm warning until 7:45, and that's going to be for Benton County. And you can see the reason why. Severe storm just to the west of Fowler, and that will continue to move east. Let's do a quick track on this. Most of these have been moving east-northeast at about 60 miles per hour. So this one will move into Fowler in the next few minutes and then continue on that path. The Monticello, if it would hold together, Monticello and Logansport would be in the path of the storm. Not the storm that is moving through now, but another severe storm that's to your west. Monticello, I know you've got some heavy rain and some rumbles of thunder right now just below severe limits, but if this one that's approaching Fowler holds together in the next half hour, 45 minutes, it's going to work its way into parts of Cass and White County. So just an early heads up that we do have a severe storm in Fowler. If it would hold together, would impact Monticello and Logansport. Let's head south. Non-severe storms popping up, Delphi and Lafayette back through Attica. You can see those crisscrossing Interstate 65 north of Lafayette. Another cell brewing in and around the Covington area. Let's go south of this location. I want to show you that you're clear Rockville for now, clear Terre Haute for now. But what's developing? These are numerous tornado warnings. At times, these have been confirmed tornado warnings moving through Effingham, Illinois, and continuing to track off to the east-northeast. We've been clocking these at about 60 miles per hour or so. So we can actually measure out how far these storms are. So let's go from Effingham to the state line, 55 miles. So think within an hour, we're going to have storms impacting perhaps Park County. So think Rockville, Terre Haute, maybe Crawfordsville and Greencastle in the next 60 to 90 minutes as these storms continue to move east-northeast. So kind of highlighting just how close they are getting to the state line. We do have some severe thunderstorm warnings for areas north and west, but the rest of central Indiana at this point is pretty quiet. So as I mentioned, if you need to run out and do something real quick, a quick errand, or pick up the kids from practice or grab dinner, this is your time. I'd say you have an hour or two for Indianapolis and the surrounding communities. It's going to be less than an hour for our western communities. Sean, how is that storm looking to the northwest?
Yeah, I mean, it's still impressive here. I want to show you what one of the NDOT cameras looks like, and this is from Remington, so this is right along I-65. This thing is getting whipped around big time. And what we've had all day long is non-thunderstorm gust well in excess of 40 miles per hour. We had a 60 mile per hour gust out at the international airport, and currently, even without thunderstorms, we're pushing 40 to 45. That's transporting up the warmth. Hit 81 today, as Angela talked about. And even Peru, during my noon show today, Peru was only in the 40s. So it took some time. Now we're all within the warm sector that we talked about yesterday, and so you can see this line of storms. I'll get to it in a moment. I'll dive up to the northern part. So when we start running down the list of ingredients, you need moisture. We have that. Dew points are in the 60s. You need instability. We're not like explosively unstable, but we've got the wind and the wind shear, and we've got the lift that's coming in from the cold front. That's the key. Much of our day we've been capped off. Now we're busting up the cap with the approaching front, okay? And you can see that long line of storms. Thankfully, though it doesn't mean we are out of the woods by any stretch, we have not had. Some of the high-res modeling hinted yesterday that there might be some lone discrete supercells, and those would maximize the rotation in the atmosphere. That did not happen. Now, that's not to say before we get to this line across the state, that we won't have some cells developing in advance of the line. But as we dive back in here, thus far, this is radar indicated rotation that's heading toward North Judson. And while we have it, let me just double check just to make sure that we haven't had any reports. For the most part, it's been some strong rotation. I'm looking at some damage, and by the way, let me expand out and turn on the storm reports just so you can see the swath we've had reports of hail and wind damage over in Illinois, and some of the reports over there, we're starting to get some damage pictures from a chat room over in the Weather Service office in Illinois. But you can see that cluster of wind damage and hail reports. Right now, the concern, at least, and this is not in our viewing area per se, but this is why we're doing the live stream, because we know eventually we are going to have warnings, and we just want to be giving you the coverage, keeping you up to date on this. This is the storm. You see what we call that rotating shear marker. Going to take this thing back, and you can see just how quickly it went from not a lot of rotation to rotation tightening up, and that's prompted that tornado warning. If you've got friends up here in Stark County, Pulaski County, this thing's moving quick. And heads up there, if you've got some friends in Plymouth, Culver, on the campus there, and eventually moving toward Napanee if this thing holds together. So this is just the beginning of what's going to be several warnings that we're going to have to deal with. Now, this is going to be a little bit of a different setup. We're not going to have, we probably aren't going to have real strong hook echoes, at least we hope we won't. These are going to be very rain wrapped, most of them. And we're just going to have to scan with the radar, kind of dive into it. We'll see if we get any hooks, but I think what's going to be mostly is going to be a longer line of storms with embedded rotation within it. And keep in mind, the line that's over Illinois right now hasn't even tapped into the strong low-level jet stream that is just sitting here waiting across Indiana.
Okay, you've been watching coverage, severe weather out of Indianapolis tonight. Now, this is Indianapolis here. This is the tornado activity well to the west, but it is all very slowly moving off to the east. This is one tornado warning goes until 6:30. Again, that's local time, so 7:30 our time. This one goes until 6:45. Which is 7:45 our time. And this is slowly moving off to the east. And in fact, as we go through the night, it doesn't move very far, very fast. This is 9 o'clock. It still hasn't cleared Missouri. It actually intensifies at 11 o'clock and is running through Indianapolis by that time, clearing St. Louis. By midnight, there it is, just south of Indianapolis, now into northwestern Tennessee. So it's moving very, very slowly. By 2:30 in the morning, it's still in northwestern Tennessee and also extreme western Kentucky. By early in the morning, still hammering Kentucky and back into West Tennessee. Now for us, this is 6:30 on Sunday. It's going to take all of these days to move this eastward, and we're not going to end up with that strong chance for severe weather on Sunday. We're going to have some showers and maybe a few embedded thunderstorms, but the blue is snow. Much colder air is going to be moving in behind this as we go through Sunday into Monday. So that's 6:30 on Sunday, 8 o'clock Monday, still some leftover showers. Snow in interior New England. And then by 11 o'clock on Monday, still some leftover showers for us and pretty big snow squalls in parts of the Ohio Valley. Ironically, where they're getting severe weather now, they could see snow squalls by Sunday night and into Monday. So we're going to talk more about that system tonight at 11 o'clock. But again, you've been watching severe weather coverage out of Indianapolis tonight as the system brings a massive severe weather outbreak to parts of the Midwest. Yeah, we'll cover this as we go through the rest of the week for us. And anytime there's something interesting going on, check us out. We may be live streaming, whether it be severe weather in terms of tornadoes, could be a blizzard, could be anything, but we will take you there and show you what's going on. But for now, thanks for watching. I'll see you tonight at 11. Remember, download our app.